go ahead.
Am I unmuted?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hello. I'm back. Thank you. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to accidentally shut the stream off.
Okay, now you have to do is hit spacebar and you're good.
But here we go.
You're all set.
Yeah, it is insane. And this woman had a Facebook page where she would give advice to parents.
Hello, Malevolent Rider.
She's been a marriage counsellor for like a decade, over a decade. It's absolutely mind-blowing that she ever got into a position of power like this. And yeah, it's fucking heartbreaking to hear what she's been doing for so long. Now at this point we start hearing a lot of similarities between Jesse's experience and what we've recently heard with Jodie and Ruby being arrested, because Jesse also
it's like she Ruby was already abusing her children, but it's like Jodie amped up that abuse to 100 with her brainwashy shit.
And also she was convinced that every word that came out of my mouth was a lie, and that, you know, gave her rationale to put duct tape on my mouth. And that's why I was always duct taped, because every word I said was a lie, and that needed to be like sad. Physically reiterated and to show that I like as a reminder that everything I say is a lie.
Absolutely disgusting, and that word
really
doesn't even do it justice. Like, so
there aren't really any
Jesse
words
to more details about
to
how
give.
Jodie wouldn't allow her to speak to anyone.
Like, for what we're hearing about right now, there really aren't words to describe what we're hearing.
In fact, actually had people to almost spy on her to check if she'd been speaking to people.
I wasn't allowed to speak to my parents. I wasn't allowed to speak to anyone alone.
So she was sent to live with her aunt, and then her aunt cut off contact with her own parents?
And then then like with the duct
Holy
taping,
crap.
I wasn't allowed to speak to anyone. So if I was at church and I wasn't duct taped, and a church leader came, I wasn't allowed to speak to anyone. So if I was at church and I wasn't duct taped, and a church leader came in, because this happened.
Wait, if I was at church and I wasn't duct taped? You went to church duct taped and that was okay with the people at your church? What the fuck church are you going to?
A church leader would come and be like, "Are you okay?" And I would have to just stare at them. Because she also had spies. She had people reporting back to her anything and everything that I did. So if I did talk to someone, she found out somehow.
Look, I can't even begin to imagine.
That is terrifying.
Like, and the fact it's being
that is absolutely terrifying. You can't talk to anybody without her figuring it out.
So this is stuff that she was doing before, which has a lot of similarities to stuff we've already heard. What else could be going on still to this day? Because there's still plenty more details that Jesse goes into in this video that I can't even show because it's so long. Obviously, it's Mormon Story podcast video, so if you do want to see the full thing, go and check it out there. But it really does make you wonder, like how bad is this getting currently, you know? And yeah, I mean, it's genuinely, I'm in disbelief. When I was first listening
so
to this,
am I. Like, I didn't think it was gonna be as bad. Like, even after watching Swoop's documentary, I was like, okay, what prompted the arrest? But hearing all of this, it's like, holy fuck, this is crazy. I can't even fathom being angry enough with my own kids to treat them even a quarter as badly as she's treating these kids.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Jesse also goes into details about how Jodie would make her physically uncomfortable to try and get like Satan out or something along them lines.
Oh,
and
good,
an
exorcism.
Various different ways, but one way that Jesse mentions is that she had to sleep in the snow.
Things got progressively worse and worse and worse because I wasn't getting better. She would say, "I'm trying to make you so physically uncomfortable that it forces the sin out." And so that's when she's...
Okay, I didn't know that sin worked that way. I didn't know that abuse made you less likely to to be sinful.
Started,
Okay.
I had to sleep outside in the snow.
Cool.
Again, we hear some similarities between Jesse's experience and what we've heard recently with Ruby's children, and Jessie even makes this comparison herself, because as we saw in an article previously, Jodie says that the children shouldn't be allowed around other children, and Jessie says that this is exactly how she felt. This is what Jodie used to say to her.
Jodie told them that these children should not be around anyone else. That they were evil, and they can't be around anyone else.
What
Other
the
children, right? They can't be around other children.
They can't be around other children. They shouldn't be around other children because they're evil.
They're evil. I'm sorry, if anybody called my kids evil, I would kill them. They wouldn't be my business partner. That's for damn sure.
Or something to that effect. And this is exactly what she did to me.
So yeah, just hearing that, it does make it seem as if Jodie's beliefs haven't changed in the slightest. She still is trying to, like, push children and teach them in this way that she for some reason thinks is good. All because she thinks these children are Satan, and that she's having dreams where she sees these children doing bad things.
Uh-oh.
They're not doing in real life, she's just
We lost everybody.
dreaming, and she acts in this extreme of a way to combat that. Mind-blowing. And finally, at this point in the interview, Jessie says that Jodie is the mastermind here. Ruby isn't the mastermind. She's just almost like kind of being brainwashed, which is something that we've been speculating for a long time. It does seem like, even though Ruby was bad already, we've seen that in the videos throughout the past years, right? Ruby was definitely bad. She would do some horrendous stuff. But it got worse. When she met Jodie, she got even more extreme. And we were saying, like, it...
Huh? Oh, okay, I only see... Okay.
It almost seems like Jodie is the mastermind here. That she is brainwashing Ruby to be even worse than she already was. And Jessie believes this too.
But Jodie is the mastermind here, not Ruby. Ruby is still responsible and, like, should be arrested for harming her children for sure. And I'm sure Jodie, like, used what it was already there, which is what she does. She uses what's already there to her advantage.
Ruby was already an abusive parent. Jodie just amplified the abuse.
Jodie is the one doing this. This is Jodie's therapeutic ideas. These are Jodie's ideas.
Yeah, I mean, look, we already had very bad opinions on Jodie Hildebrandt. That's no secret, but somehow they've got a lot worse. She is worse than we could have ever imagined, or at least
I never thought it was gonna get as bad as it did. I thought, like, even the Daddy 05 shit was bad, but it wasn't like this.
Just hearing it from someone who was directly impacted by this, heartbreaking. Genuinely heartbreaking. But yeah, like I mentioned, the clips that I've shown in this video is only part of the interview. It's a very small portion. The actual interview was 3 hours long, well, over 3 hours long. If you do want to listen to the full thing, I'll leave a link in the description for you.
That is a
It's
long-ass
definitely worth a listen
podcast.
if you want some added context to this situation. And now the last thing I wanted to talk about today, there's also been an interview with Ruby Frankie's cousin, who wants to stay anonymous. They call her Sally throughout this. That's obviously not her name. But she goes into details about how this behavior is actually multi-generational in her family, and believes that Ruby actually learned this from her parents.
Lovely. So it's a multi-pronged attack of multi-generational abuse and a manipulative person who's amplifying already abusive people.
This is
Good.
multi-generational, so I suppose you'd have to read in between the lines with that.
So from their parents, your grandparents, you believe that they learned this behavior?
Yeah, I do.
Which would definitely explain this behavior a lot more, right? Again, these are just allegations here. I'm not...
There's G-Baby and a new person in Twitch chat.
Oh, hello, everybody in Twitch chat. Hello, everybody. Hello, G-Baby. Hello.
In fact, I'm just saying what Ruby's own cousin has said. But Ruby's cousin, who again wants to stay anonymous, actually goes into details in this interview about, like, what her mother was like. She's actually a lot closer to her father. They're still in contact now. She has a relationship with her father. But her mother was very similar to Ruby in a lot of ways.
My mother handcuffed my sisters when they were young, and a lack of food wasn't uncommon.
Yeah, so again, very
Wow,
similar to the stuff we've heard
handcuffing
recently.
children.
Obviously,
Good.
we mentioned handcuffs here. We've heard duct tape recently. In fact, Ruby's cousin does go to details on how her siblings were duct taped at times as well. We also see the
Oh,
lack of
lovely.
food, which again is another allegation against Ruby currently. She also goes into details on how she believes that Ruby uses her religion as a way to justify what she's doing, which is very similar to what we've
You
just
mean
heard
it as a crutch and a cudgel?
with Geordie, right? Using their religion to justify what they're doing. When in reality, it's got nothing to do with their religion. There are tons of people out there who are Mormon who don't behave like this and think that this is absolutely disgusting. It's got nothing to do with that. But they use it as a way to justify their actions.
Mormons do not condone harming children, abusing children.
Oh,
I
you
don't
love
really know of
Marky and
any
his
religion that
accent?
Does.
Hey,
I
I can
feel
see
that
Twitch chat.
They
Yay!
talk about religion in a way to almost justify.
I'm invested into this shit.
Yeah. It's been a while since.
Oh, thank
I've
you.
read the enzyme.
Good, I'm glad.
It's been a while since I've
Thank you very much.
read through the Book of Mormon.
It's very
in-
kind
in
of you.
church.
I'm glad that I can help keep you
I
sane.
can't give any specifics, but I do feel and believe that those sorts of things are used to justify.
So again, very similar stuff between Geordie and Ruby, using their religion as a way to justify their disgusting, disgusting actions. And she actually finishes this interview by saying that this situation is a lot bigger than people know. It's multi-generational, as she mentioned earlier.
It's a lot bigger. Everything is a lot bigger than people know.
And you're talking about the generational, the family
Yes.
issues, and
So yeah, the audio goes a bit weird there with the interview,
Uh.
but she says yes, that's what she was talking about. That this is a lot bigger. This is multi-generational. Right, so now we're back with Calamari from the future, if you want to call it that, because we have actually got details of Ruby Frankie's court hearing. It was actually done through Zoom, or a Zoom alternative. It was done through like webcams and whatnot.
Yeah.
Some pictures of both Geordie and Ruby have both came out from the court hearing, as we can see here. This is Ruby at her court hearing, and then this is Geordie also at the court hearing. Now, a few things I want to mention straight away. You can't screen record the court hearing and release it and all that stuff. You're not allowed to do that. So
No.
I'm not going to be showing any clips from the court hearing, obviously.
However, I will, because I found, well, I don't know if I will, because Law and Crime Network, where am I going next? What? Which one? Judge refuses to grant Ruby Frankie bail, or
Hold on.
which one?
I'll just make it easier for you. There you go.
Heard
Thank you.
this term
Next one's the judge.
called mommy guilt quite a bit. Have you heard that, or maybe you use that term? Every time I hear that term, I think, that doesn't make any sense to me.
that's Jody Hildebrandt, the Utah woman accused of child abuse, alongside YouTuber and mom of 6, Ruby Frankie. Hildebrandt says she's a counselor, but who is she really?
A counselor, eh? I don't think I would ever want to go to her if she was my counselor.
So glad you're with us.
We investigate and tell you about the startling twist in the case involving Ruby Frankie. Welcome to Law and Crime Sidebar Podcast. I'm Anjanette Levy. Jody Hildebrandt was taken into custody in Ivins, Utah last week after police said Ruby Frankie's son climbed out of a window at her home with duct tape on his ankles and wrists. Police said the boy was
Okay,
not-
so it's like the 911 call says he left through the porch, and then these people say he climbed out a window.
nourished and taken to the hospital. Hildebrandt and Frankie face 6 counts of child abuse each. Neighbors and viewers
Wow.
of Frankie's YouTube
Each.
channel, 8 Passengers, say they've been concerned for years about how she treats her children. And get this, on Thursday, the Daily Mail is reporting that during a hearing over custody of Ruby Frankie's minor children, she claimed that one of them molested their siblings and other neighborhood children over
Yes.
several years. The reporter said that Frankie sobbed during the interview. We know Frankie is a mom of 6. We've seen her past videos.
I
but
really
who is
want
Jody
to see
Hildebrandt?
some of these
We did some
court
digging to
stuff.
find out.
I want to see some of the court stuff, cause I don't know what person thinks that that's gonna work.
Hildebrandt founded Connections Classroom in 2007. Prior to Connections, she worked as a counselor at a drug and alcohol treatment center. Her LinkedIn page calls her a therapist and educator. Hildebrandt received a Master's of
Oh,
Science
a
in
therapist
Educational
and
Psychology
advocator,
from the
eh?
University of Utah in 2003. Her bio on her connectionsclassroom.com page says, "My style is compassionate yet direct and clear of what is necessary to fully change and champion any addictive or self-destructive behavior, whether it be ravenous addictions, feelings of worthlessness or inadequacy, conflicts in relationships, intimacy problems, communication breakdowns, and frankly, any block that prevents having and creating peace and joy." Here's a clip from Connection's Instagram account from last November. It's Jody Hildebrandt talking about how parents can help their children when they act out.
Yeah, Connections is the new channel that Ruby and Jody have started after the 8 Passengers channel kind of took a shit.
So many of us that are parents, it's like, I don't want to have to track them down. I don't want to have to just, like take everything away from them. And it's like, you're not taking things away from them. What you're doing is you've handed them things that they're not managing. And so it's your job to make sure that the first thing they manage is themselves. Like, they understand how to manage themselves. They know how to be responsible for themselves. They know how to not blame. They know how to get curious, which means humble. They know how to ask questions.
Wait, how does being curious mean that you're humble? You can be curious and not humble. I don't understand how being curious means you're humble. I also don't understand how teaching your kids to manage themselves means that you shouldn't also be parenting what they're watching and doing on their tablets. Like, you need to teach them how to manage that stuff. You can't just rely on them to turn off the tablet at a reasonable time, because they're not going to.
They know how to say, that doesn't feel right. Can you help me understand? They know how to do all that. And when you give them activities or you give them opportunities that they engage in where they can't manage themselves, they're only going to become more and more unmanageable inside of these activities.
Hildebrandt also talked last year about what sex should be like between two people who are married.
If we're going to be sexual, that we do it inside the institution, the constructs of a marriage. And not just a marriage, I go and I get married, but a marriage between a man and a woman.
Of course, a man and a woman, that's the only defining characteristic of marriage. It's whether each person has one penis and one vagina. It has to only boil down to that. It doesn't matter if you love each other. It doesn't matter if you're good for each other. It doesn't matter any of that. As long as one of you has a penis and the other one of you has a vagina, then you're fine.
Love God, which means they individually love God. So there's no lust in your marriage. It's, I love me, I love God, and so therefore I truly love you.
Yes, I love God.
I will
yes.
never take from you. I will never
because there aren't gay people that love God.
Feel better.
Jody Hildebrandt claims to have counseled thousands of people over the years. She says she's counseled families of all ages with her unique style of educating about the power of choice.
Her unique style.
Honesty. A 6-week individual leadership training goes for $795.
Holy shit!
Company training costs nearly $15,000.
Holy fuck! $800 for individual training of 6 weeks and $15,000 for companies? Holy shit! Wow! Man, if I didn't have scruples, I'd make up some bullshit course and I'd charge for it. Holy fuck!
Hildebrandt and Frankie appeared to be business partners. The Contact Us page on the Connections website lists Ruby Frankie as the contact. Photos on the website show the two together. Ruby Frankie is listed as a certified mental fitness trainer at Connections. She produces content for social media that focuses on empowering parents and children to live their truth. According to the affidavit filed in support of the child abuse charges, 2 of Frankie's children had been at Hildebrandt's home last week. A 12-year-old boy climbed out of the window, asking a neighbor for food and water.
That's so fucked up.
Duct tape was on his wrists and ankles, and he had deep lacerations from being restrained. Then police said Ruby Frankie's 10-year-old daughter was found in the home as well, malnourished.
Of
Police
course
say
she
a YouTube
was.
video showed Frankie in the home 2 days prior, and that she was aware of what was happening to her children.
2 days prior. So at the very least, she was there 2 days before, and she knew what was going on.
Frankie and Hildebrandt are Mormons, and they talk about God in many of their videos and what they say he wants. This week, Jessie Hildebrandt, Jody's niece, spoke
I
on
don't think I
YouTube
ate enough with
about
my
her
pills
aunt.
because I'm not feeling good.
Jody and my parents had a conversation. Jody told them to leave me with them. Me to leave me with her, and for them to just go, and to not say anything, and to just pack
Just
everything
fuck
and just
off.
go.
Just leave me with just leave your daughter with me and don't say anything to her.
And so
It'll
a few
be
hours
fine.
later, I get a knock on the door. I was asleep, and it was Jody and my grandparents telling me that my family had left and I wasn't going with them, and that my life was about to change pretty dramatically.
Good.
But everything was revolved around my worth. So anything that gave me a sense of worth, I was not allowed to have anymore. I had really long hair.
Okay, so we're repeating. Okay. There's going to be a lot of repetition, I think.
Loved. Had to cut it all off.
I think Marky did a pretty good job
Going
of
to school,
covering this.
Gave me
I feel like Law and Crime Network is glossing over a lot because Marky did 31 minutes. This is 15. Oh, fuck. Honey, can you please put some bread in the toaster for me? I need to end this and eat. I didn't have enough food and my pills are making me want to throw up. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this off and I'm going to come back tomorrow at noon with a Just Chatting stream. I am going to multi-stream it and I am going to do some fun videos. We have more stuff that I didn't cover tonight. We got some cop videos and I'm sure I'll find some more in the morning that we can watch that are, new stuff. And then tomorrow night I'll be doing The Last of Us. But I need to go and put some food in my stomach because my nighttime meds are not sitting properly with me. And I don't want to puke on camera because that's gross. So, thank you all for hanging out with me. I'm happy that this works, that Streamlabs desktop works. Thank you all. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow at noon. And I'll talk to you.